I'm just messing with my wife over here, guys. Ron from Fallout Hobbies. How's everyone doing today? I hope good. Sorry the area is a little bit of a mess right here. I'm working on a lot of different aspects of this model. As always, Jules is here.
Hey guys, what's up?
So if you have any questions or comments, just ask or leave it in the messenger. We'll do it in real time. So today, last week I was working on this Bandai 1/5000 scale Star Destroyer, which was pretty awesome, and I was doing the airbrush stencils. Since then, I did a little bit of cleanup by hand and then applied a wash, and that's pretty much it. Now I'm getting to a point where I want to do a little bit more lighting, and I also made a custom decal sheet for myself with some Imperial insignia and some Arabesh writing that I'm going to add onto the vehicle. So I'm just kind of doing a couple different things here. I was in the process of gluing these LEDs in right before the video started.
Dearwood Fitzpatrick's checking in with us, says howdy.
Hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah, I showed in the last video these LEDs, but I didn't have them glued in because I was doing some painting on this side of it. So now I'm just gluing them in.
Caswell says, hey Jules and Ron. Hey, sup?
Hey, what's up, man? Alright. Just got to install these last two over here. So I don't know how many of you guys are parents over there, but we have a bunch of kids between the two of us. And today we decided to install the Facebook Kids Messenger app for them.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake immediately. Our phones have just been, because it, notifies us of everything the kids are saying, and all the kids talking back to each other, and our phones are just like blowing up with pictures of cats and words like barf and poop, and they're like calling each other every 5 minutes. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster over here.
Dearwood says he's doing peachy. You guys good? Yeah, we're good.
We're good except for constant kid messaging.
And Caswell says this model is going to be beautiful.
There's the engines. I use the flicker blue LEDs on these ones. So this whole model kit is going to be on a 9-volt battery. This is strip LED lighting. You can buy this readily everywhere. And pretty much all strip LED lighting is 9 to 12 volt DC power. So they come in big rolls like this. But like one end might be hooked up already. But then you have to, see, it's like a whole roll of LEDs. But then you have to trim it down for what you need. So I'm going to do a quick install here because I want to run some strip LED lighting along the inside rows here to kind of illuminate all these little side windows and whatnot. Now, I'm not going to actually glue the strip lighting in yet because there's some pieces that I need to modify. This kit came with extra pieces for the inside to mount like electronics and stuff like that, but I really didn't like the look or how they were working. So there's a lot of extra like connector pin areas where if you're not building that aspect of the kit, you don't need those. So I got to kind of go through these and figure out what I can get rid of and what needs to stay so that then I can, properly install the strip lighting. But for now, I can at least run some copper wire and connect the ends of these. So this is that copper wire that I talk about all the time that's got a light polymer coat on it so that it's not conductive from the sides. It's only conductive where it gets soldered, which is great when you're building miniature models because you don't want things to cross paths. So for the strip lighting, you can't really see it well in the video, but there's it comes in segments. So there's basically 3 LEDs per segment. Then there's a demarcation line where you could cut, and then LEDs over here. Not LEDs, connectors, I mean. And the rest of it's coated in plastic, and then it's got a self-adhesive back.
Cass says that he would love to see an Enterprise done.
Which one? Because I'm building a bunch. Haha. Actually, for one of my other stores, I'm working on I have the 350 scale Enterprise from the movies right now, which is gargantuan. And just to show you, the 350 scale is huge. This is the saucer section. It doesn't even fit on the camera. That's ridiculous. This is the lower hull. Look at how huge that is. It's insane. So, I've been working on upgrade kits for the Enterprise as well, so I just want to show you real quick.
Cass says, whichever floats your boat, man.
So in Star Trek V, they had the shuttle bay scene, so I've been working on building upgrade pieces for the shuttle bay. Like little Federation shuttles.
He also says, wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So these are all like upgrade bits in various states of production that I've been working on for the shuttle bay and whatnot. But, you know, like that wall piece would go in there. So more updates on that later as I finish building that. For now, I'm working on the Star Destroyer. But I'm definitely building a big Enterprise and lighting it all up, so that's going to be cool. I'm also building a smaller one that's the Star Trek Discovery retconned version of the Enterprise.
Aw, Cass says, man, you're talented.
Thank you. I've been working away on these things. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I need to connect this copper wire and solder some of it. So to make a good strong connection, there's these little metal bumps here. I just take my pin vise drill. It's soft metal. It's not hard. And I just broke a drill bit. That wasn't from that. That was from sloppily drilling. So I punched 2 holes through it. And then I take the copper wire and basically tie a knot at the end. And now, when I go to solder this, the heat from the solder will melt the polymer coating that's on the copper wire where it's hot and fuse the copper wire to here, thus, you know, making it work, making it connect. For the ends here, I just kind of do this to shave off a little bit of the plastic coating. Let me fire up the soldering iron. I'll show you guys what I mean. I don't have any spare ports down here. I'm going to have to run it off of this one. There we go. I'm running out of plugs. I have a whole power strip under the bed, under the desk, but I'm running out of plugs for it. What is that?
Probably one of the children.
Oh, that's your phone. Something was buzzing. It's one of the kids calling one of the other kids, and we're getting notified of it. Jesus Christ. All right, so I got the solder, the iron's heating up. I've got my 30-year-old can of flux over here. That's not an exaggeration. This can of flux is probably 30 years old. I'm not joking. I've had it since I was like... I actually inherited it. I don't even think I bought it new. I think someone gave it to me. So it might be even older than that. I'm showing you how I'm going to connect this one piece right here, so then you can see how we install the strip lighting. And while I'm doing that, let me think about this. Definitely don't need that port. And don't need that port. And don't need that port, because I'm not installing the pieces that go there. Okay. Smoke.
Jim is asking if we sell the rolls of the thin polymer coated copper wire. No.
No, but we can. I can post a link from Amazon. It's all over the place. It's very easy to get.
I'll send you one sec.
So, see, there's the strip lighting. And you see, this is what I'm saying. This copper wire, touching it, lights aren't going out. It's because it's got the plastic coat, so it's sealed. So, now what we can do, the strip lighting has adhesive on the back.
What gauge is that? The copper wire?
1 second. It is 30 gauge, but they sell it in 16 up to 42.
Which would you recommend?
30 gauge is pretty thin. If you want like hair thin, like I'm talking hair thin, you could go up to like 40. That's crazy thin.
Yeah.
If you want something a little bit more sturdy, go up to like maybe 24. Could go down to 18 gauge. That's what my ears used to be.
Yeah.
What? When I had gauged earrings in back in the day.
I can't picture that. I don't know why.
I had gauged earrings in when we met.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Remember I had to take them out when I went to the hospital that one time?
Oh, right. You probably just never put them back in.
I never put them back in.
It's because you had to get that scan or something.
Yeah, they had to take my earrings out because I had to get an MRI. And they didn't want my earrings to rip out of my skull and fly to the machine. All right. So one strip done. See, that was easy. There's the other strip that I pre-cut out. All right, same story over here. God, that dog. The people that live next to us have this dog that is just this really out of control pit bull. Which is weird because they're old, so I don't know why they have a pit bull. But this thing just doesn't shut up all day long. It's insane.
Here you go. Here's a link to the copper wire that he's using. It's not bad. It's only like $10, and you can actually pick which gauge you want.
Yeah, the roll of it will last you forever. If you're doing small hobby stuff like this, you're not going to run out of it anytime soon.
there's a Mark checking in with us, and he's tagging his friends. Yes, bring your friends.
Thanks, Mark. So once again, I'm just kind of tying a little knot with the copper wire here. Put weight on that so it lays flat. And then put a glob of solder right here. Okay. The trickiest thing, honestly, about soldering and having plastic models is if your soldering iron is on, pay attention to where your models are, because there has been at least 3 times that I've been wiring kits and somehow like a piece landed on top of the soldering iron and all of a sudden there's like a hole burnt into the plastic. And then I have to like pretend that it's like battle damage and like
I was just about to
make
say
it look
that.
like a freaking laser cannon hit it or something.
It's battle damage.
It's battle damage. If you're klutzy like me, which if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know that I'm pretty klutzy.
Michael Metman is asking, what kit is this? This is a Star Wars Star Destroyer.
It's the Bandai one. Michael Metman is... he's been on the Model Works stuff. He purchased some kits in the past.
That's because I invited all the Model Works.
Oh, you invited Model Works today? That's cool.
Well, I figured if you're going to be doing a Star Destroyer, you know.
That's true. That is true.
So.
There we go.
In other news, if you haven't been following, we are hosting a virtual Hobby Fest, Winter Hobby Fest, and we have a lot more developments with that. We have a lot of commission painters that are donating models to the charity auction. We have more sponsors. White Metal Games is actually one of our sponsors, and he's going to be donating some stuff to this massive giveaway we're putting together.
Yes.
So I'm going to post a link to that as well.
Yes, for those of you people that are coming in from Model Works, Fallout Hobbies is one of my other businesses that I've ran for the past couple years, and we've been trying to do a lot of stuff in the wargaming hobby community for charity lately. So Hobby Fest is one of those things where it's going to be a lot of content because people can't go to conventions right now, so there's going to be like some workshops, some tutorials. There's a lot of talented commission painters that are coming on board to do those during the month of February, and then we're going to have
a painting contest.
A painting contest for everyone to get involved in. That's going to have some pretty good prizes, pretty large prizes actually, and we've got a lot of sponsors. We've got Army Painter coming on board. Looks like Raging Heroes might participate. We're not sure yet. We've got a lot of commission painters. We've got White Metal Games coming on board as a sponsor.
It's not just for Warhammer 40K. I mean, like, a huge chunk of our audience is that, but any kind of models, if you build models, then
yeah,
it's a great distraction and it's all for a good cause, so check it out.
It's all for charity. And we're donating to, what, like 5 different charities?
Yeah, we are. We're donating to a lot of groups that are doing really good things during COVID. Doctors Without Borders, Operation Blessing, to write on her arms, to write love on her arms, and the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence were the charities that we decided to raise funds for. So. And Michael Metman says, nice.
There we go. So that's the interior, that's the outer edge of the Star Destroyer. So that'll light up a good amount of the, edge here. And then there was a third. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here. I might build a box frame, and there's going to be a third, maybe a strip on top of that, and then probably a singular white LED in this top area. But I'm going to move on for now because I just want to show some other cool aspects. I'm actually going to turn off the soldering iron because I might switch over to doing decals now. But I also want to show these SMD LEDs that I'm going to install. So I picked up these, which are really awesome. Excuse me, I just burped really bad. These are edge-leg LEDs, SMD LEDs. They come in big bundles like this. And there's about 10 of them in here. Now these are super fine and they're warm white, and I'm using them in different areas to highlight parts of the model kit.
Darren Witt is asking, are the resistors built into the LED lighting strip?
Yes, the LED lighting strip does have resistors. Also, the self-blinking, the self-flashing LEDs come pre-wired with resistors. These ones I sell, by the way, on the store. The lighting strips I do not sell. These tiny little lights, these do not come with resistors, so you're going to have to manually install them. And I got a pack of resistors right here that are meant for 5.1 to 9 volt DC use. These tiny LEDs are 3 volt standard. So when I'm hooking them up to a 9 volt circuit, they're going to need a resistor, obviously. Otherwise, they're going to burn out. Let me clear some of this stuff out of the way because I don't need it right now. Alright, so these little guys are super tiny, and I was going to install some of them right in these little alcove areas. Could even put them right through though. I'm going to drill a tiny hole right through there and right through there.
Michael's asking, do you have to use a single resistor per light, or can you wire them all together and use one?
I think you can use one. I don't see why not, because you would be running it out of one power source, connecting one resistor to that, so anything that comes after that would be reduced. Yeah, you should probably be able to get away with one. Alright, one hole in there. Oh, that's interesting. It's asymmetrical. Well, they were very accurate to the studio model, so.
Ron is also going to be doing an advanced LED lighting workshop that's for free as part of everything for Winter Hobby Fest is free and for a good cause. But he's doing that on February 4th, where he's going to show how to use a variety of different lighting kits.
Yep. It's going to be a longer one. It'll probably be 2 hours or so. and I'll be showing a bunch of different kits. I'll be showing some lighting kits from some other companies as well as ones that I make.
Michael says, okay, thanks.
So this is going to be cool, guys. Here, wait until I get one of these installed. Tiniest hole ever. There we go. So these LEDs do have a face, per se. They don't just shoot out light in all directions. They shoot out light in very specific directions. So when you install them, you're going to want to make sure that you get the light facing the direction that you want. I got blinded by that for a second, which is where I want it now, so that I don't get a bunch of super glue on the very nice tiny detail that's on the outside of the model. I'm going to just put a...
Dearwood's asking,
right,
can you use one battery with all the LEDs, but depending on the type of connection, parallel or series, some LEDs will be dimmed, but you'll hardly notice it with bright LEDs.
You will get LEDs that are dimmed if you start using too many, or if the battery starts running low, for instance. The flickering LEDs might pull, like do a little bit more pull and cause some pull from here, but you can run it off of one battery. I'm going to be running it off of one battery, and it'll probably be fine for a few hours constant use. Alternatively, you could get a 12 volt DC power adapter for a couple bucks online, and the power adapters would adapt a wall socket to 12 volt DC, which would also work, because remember, these strip LEDs are 9 to 12 volt DC, so there's that 3 volt gap there that you can work with. So if you get a 12 volt power adapter, you could do that. Alternatively, in one of my other models that I'm working on off to the side of the table, I got a 12 volt battery pack from Amazon, which you won't have the issue with hold on, how's this thing open? There you go.
Austin Lynn is checking in.
12
says,
volt.
Hey,
Hey,
Ron
Austin.
and Julie.
Hey, what's up, Austin? So this is a 12 volt battery pack, so that if you find that a 9 volt battery is not really going to cut it for what you need, you could do a 12 volt, which is what I'm doing with this model over here, which has a shit ton of LEDs in it, so it kind of needed a little bit more juice. Some tape on the edge there. So, and this is another thing I'm working on, and there's like blinking lights and everything. It's a whole to do. So you have a lot of different options for lighting. A 9 volt would be the most basic, but if you find that a 9 volt isn't enough, you could up to a 12 volt battery pack. And if you want the lights to be constantly on, just get a power adapter. Just get a 9 to 12 volt DC power adapter. Okay. So back to installing these little guys up here.
Dearwood says, Ron, I'm surprised you didn't use fiber optics off the strip lighting to the edge of the hall. I wasn't asking about the one battery with all the LEDs. I was stating it for the other viewer. Yeah, I totally read that wrong. That's my bad.
And how do you know I'm not using fiber optic? I just haven't installed it yet.
We're sneaky like that.
I just haven't installed it yet, that's all.
And all that stuff you can get from like Amazon dirt cheap too.
Or Chinese electronics stores on eBay sell a ton of that stuff. You could get a whole roll of fiber optics for like $8. There we go. Sorry guys, this is battery's being tricky here.
And what millimeter are you using for the fiber optics?
I believe it's 0.5 millimeter. I think that's what I bought for this. The windows in this kit were actually pre-drilled, so I think they're 0.5 millimeter. If not, I'll just have to get another rung down. But anyway, so that's basically what I'm doing with these tiny lights, is installing them throughout different areas of the alcove, which will create a cool effect. But when it's all said and done, and all like dozen or so of them are installed, I'm going to need to glue them off and then, clip them off, attach a resistor to the one end of them, and then hook them up to the remaining light strips here, and then hook that up to here. So, yep.
Yeah, you were super duper excited when you saw the Bandai, like the kit had all those windows pre-drilled.
I was, because my wrists kill me after drilling one of these models. So seeing that all the windows are already drilled, it's kind of amazing. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but there's just like dozens of little holes drilled all the way through the inside here, built right into the kit. So that's wonderful. You can kind of see it more like in areas like this. So that'll all get fiber optics, but I'm kind of waiting to the end for the end to do that because it's a bit of a pain in the ass. There's other aspects of the model I want to build beforehand. All right, so I showed you guys what I wanted to do with the lighting. So that's very fun. Let's look at this again, because this was fun. Oh, yeah. Now look at that, when it's going to be in the ship. I love these candle LEDs. I just think they make... I know it's not necessarily the best effect, but it looks better in larger scales, but I still like it. I still think it adds some animation to the engines rather than just having steady blue engines. That's totally a preference. Some people would want the blue engine, some people wouldn't. What time do we have right now?
It's only 1:35. Got plenty of time.
Okay, good. Enough time to do decals. So I'm going to switch gears for a minute because the other aspect I wanted to show in this video is doing decals.
Michael Metman says, looks amazing.
Thank you. So, because this ship is not a traditionally painted Star Destroyer, I figured I could kind of go with whatever I wanted to here. I'm envisioning this as being maybe like an admiral ship or something like that. Which, speaking of admirals, the fact that Thrawn's going to be showing up on Disney Plus in a series soon is pretty freaking awesome to me. I'm excited about that. Now, for those of you that don't know, I mean, Fallout Hobbies does do custom decals. We mainly are geared towards wargaming with that. but we can print in white ink and whatnot, so the decals can be a little bit more elaborate than what you could print at home. Well, a lot more elaborate than what you could print at home. Okay. So this imperial symbol will go right there. Imperial symbol right there. Imperial symbol right there. And I'm going to use a strip. Strip of Orabesh right there. And then, which size do I want to do? And strip of Orabesh there. There. Okay, that's going to be the decals, 6 decals total. Get those. Everyone's got a different technique with doing decals. I like to just let them float in water. It's kind of been the way I've been doing it my whole life. But I am going to get out the microsol. Can't do decals without microsol. Or something comparable. Get a nice soft brush over here. This one's good. Now, I already clear coated this model from last week's video, because if I didn't, this microsol could potentially take off some of the wash that's on it. No one wants that.
Oh, Michael's asking, so can you do both Rebel and Imperial logos for most of the kits available?
Well, I wouldn't make that something that is publicly available because I don't want to get sued. But if someone wants to order a custom job like that, then yes, I could do a sheet with it. But if you check out the page,
I'll send them a link.
Yeah, I need a napkin real quick for the decals. We have different tiers of services available for the custom decals. Keep in mind, most of what we do for that is targeted towards wargaming, so it's meant, you know, mainly for like Space Marine armies and stuff like that. But we can do decals in any size. What is this fuzz on here? There we go.
Michael says, thanks for the link. I'm excited. I get to do some Weeping Angels
Yeah, you're working on that Doctor Who sheet for that one client.
Yeah. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I even have like a quote from Doctor Who on my one tattoo.
Jules is such a nerd that her one tattoo is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and her other tattoo is Doctor Who.
Michael goes, Doctor Who? Question mark? You do not know Doctor Who?
No, I think he's making a joke, babe.
I hope. Michael is laughing. Laughy emojis. So, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's messing with you.
Yeah, I have the quote, we're all good stories in the end. Just make it a good one.
No, we're all stories in the end.
Yes.
You said good twice in that.
Well, yeah. I can't speak straight today.
I wonder if it's because our phones have been dinging every 5 minutes. Kids trying to call each other and play Among Us.
Now the question is, which one is going to be worse? The messenger app that we got them or the walkie-talkies?
At least the walkie-talkies, they could like hide in pillow forts or something and message each other. Or go outside with those, you know?
Now, what's a good way to apply these to keep it from like bubbling? That's a common problem that people have.
Well, let's talk about that for a bit. So decals, first, you definitely need to use Decal Softener, and Decal setting solution. The reason is it softens the decal and allows it to conform to irregularities in the surface. This model kit is a great example because there's all sorts of little panels and raised areas on the surface that are going to do that. Now, this one, for instance, that's on this hump over here, it's got a couple areas where there would be bumps and whatnot. The trick is just keep applying the decal setting solution and it'll just keep making the decal softer. Give it drying time in between, obviously, so the decal doesn't shred. But if you keep adding the setting solution, it'll make it softer and eventually conform to the surface. You just got to give it time in between. Now, another thing that people have is silvering, which is where they put the decals on and they look kind of frosted. If you don't clear coat your models before you put the decals on, that's a high potential for happening. Because what the silvering is tiny air bubbles getting caught up in the grit of the model and getting stuck under the film of the decal. And it kind of like fogs the decal up. If your model is clear coated, the surface is smoother and then the decal adheres more uniformly without little air pockets popping up underneath of it. Some of that can be resolved by like taking a pin or taking your knife and kind of stabbing it into the decal after it's dry and putting like a drop of decal setting solution and hoping that it sucks underneath the decal. like when you're marinating steak or something like that. But but that doesn't really work all the time. It's kind of like your last ditch effort to try to save the decal before it's boned permanently. Um, but at this point in the game, where the decals are setting and drying and contouring to the surface, you can do the decal setting solution a few times. Um, so I'm basically going to let this sit for like 10-15 minutes or so, and then apply another coat, let it dry thoroughly. I'll inspect, see if it's really adhered to the surface. If it hasn't, I'll do it again. And when that's all said and done and it's finally dried, I'm going to brush coat an acrylic matte varnish on top of it. This is important because spray varnish, depending on what brand you use, can eat decals. And then the decals just get destroyed. So you want to make sure there's something sealing the decal in that's not going to eat the film of the decal, which is why you would use an acrylic matte varnish. But that's after everything's thoroughly dried, after it's conformed to the surface, after I make sure there's no air bubbles or anything like that. But for right now, that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I wanted to show you guys for this video. What time do we have?
We got 10 minutes to 2.
10 minutes? I got enough time to work on another lighting strip then, while these decals just kind of settle in over here.
I also pinned a link to the top of the comments here. That's the blog post with all the info for Winter Hobby Fest, and it's going to be updated frequently as the workshop schedule fills out, and we have more things added to the giveaways. So feel free to check it out and join the event on Facebook, and it'll be a good distraction for February.
That's kind of the whole point. We figured February is a pretty sucky month. People get pretty depressed in February.
We have a polar vortex coming.
Yes, if you live in the U.S., if you live in the northern U.S. rather, it's going to suck next week.
Or Europe, too.
Or northern Europe. So while I have 10 more minutes of the video, I'm just going to work on this other light strip here. This is going to be the one that's going to light up the main core of the body right here. So it's going to be a big light strip that's going to be wrapped in a coil.
Michael says, hey, don't forget us Canucks. Or Canuckskis, he's saying. Don't you guys have like a bad winter like every year? Polar vortex or no?
I thought it was just a given that Canada would be frozen over. I didn't think to mention that.
I remember, and this was when I was pregnant with Autumn, and where the heck was I? It was for the, was it the Jazz Festival, or, I don't know, it was at some sort of festival, and it was in Canada, and I remember thinking a lot of the hotels in the town, they didn't have air conditioning, and so it wasn't even that bad, but I was like dying, because I was like very pregnant at the time. Michael says, nope, they haven't gotten any snow right now.
Oh, wow. We've gotten more snow.
It snowed today. We woke up to snow.
Is it snowing right now?
Mm-mm,
No, it stopped. It was snowing earlier, and we're all the way down in PA. Let me inspect these decals while that Yeah, see, I don't know how well you can see it, but the decal's really sucking into the recesses there, which is exactly what I want it to do.
Michael says, nope, all green here. Oof, I'm jelly. Michael says, it's calling for rain up there tomorrow. Yeah, I figure we have like maybe, if we're lucky, like one more good week of like being able to take breaks and walks during the day just to get some movement in. And then it's just going to be really, really brutally cold until the middle of February.
Yep.
It's okay. I'm just going to do some yoga or something.
Oh, I see what happened here. That's weird. This isn't, I'm not able to get this to connect. Maybe the solder, oh, that's interesting. That just ripped right out. You know what? I'll just start from the other end. Just install it from the other end.
Dan Red says, I've got to go. Thanks for the links. The model's looking great. Good color. Choice of color with the white on the red.
Thanks, man. I was trying to go for something that was a little bit
fascist
looking because it's, imperial. All right.
Michael says, totally agree. The model looks stellar.
Thanks, guys. I should be done this one pretty soon, actually. It doesn't have that much more to do. after I install the strip lighting, a little bit of fiber optics, and then and then a couple more of those tiny SMD LEDs, and I can close it up.
We'll be sure to post like final pictures and stuff too. Ooh, Iwata just messaged us.
There we go.
What is this? Marketing and promo sync.
All right, so that one works too. That's going to be for the inside of the main core. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's pretty much the video for today. Next week, I think I'll be doing something different because I'm pretty much done with this Star Destroyer. So, not really sure what I'm going to do there. I am probably going to do some more Star Wars and Star Trek stuff down the road as well, especially if we're sharing this on the Model Works channel. But, yeah. So, that's pretty much it. And, we'll see you guys next week. And I hope you have a safe rest of your week. And try to stay warm if you're in the north, because it's going to get freaking cold.
And check out the Winter Hobby Fest.
And check out Winter Hobby Fest, because that's going to be pretty cool. All right. Thanks, guys.